guys, and welcome to another episode of Fuck Around and Find Out.
What's up, fuck man?
Today's podcast is going to be about alcohol, everybody's favorite drink. And if it's not your favorite drink, it's because you had bad experiences with it or you're probably addicted. Either way, at one point or another, it was your favorite drink. Addicted. Yeah, of all the things to be addicted to, alcohol is probably
Remember, only quitters quit.
Yeah. It's probably ruined more lives and been responsible for more shotgun weddings, dumpster, like babies, or a prom night dumpster baby. Prom night dumpster baby.
Like I say, that's a country song. I've heard it before.
I think I learned it on Family Guy. Like it was, yeah.
Well, I'm not dumpster baby.
It was one of the better skits back before they had to get all politically correct. So alcohol is amazing, and alcohol was pretty much, I think it probably came apart by just people eating fermented fruit, right? And then they were like, hey, this fermented fruit's pretty awesome. It gets the chickens really fucked up, imagine. And then they started making juice and fermenting it. And
by the way, wait. By the way, everybody should be taking notes because this is also a prepper thing. So you want to, learn as you listen.
Yeah, learn to educate yourself. So probably one of the single most useful things you can learn how to do is to ferment things. So probably about 40% of all the foods you eat are fermented in some way, whether it's some type of sausage, a type of curing that's done with like bacon or pickled foods, pickled items. Heck, even hot dogs are fermented to an extent.
And
so then you've got drinks, you've got alcohol, you've got a whole bunch of other stuff. For a long time, they would make this. When they talk about beer in the olden days, they're not talking about like beer like we have it nowadays. They're talking about they fermented some juice and some water just to have enough alcohol in it that it killed off all the bacteria so that then it was safe to drink the water. Because there for a long time, your water was just full of like bacteria, cholera, all sorts of crap. So the only way to really have safe drinking water was to ferment your juice, like ferment it. And it worked out really well. Now, the Wild West and all the settlers and everybody like that was shit-faced most of the fucking time. From about 1400s, everybody on a boat was drinking fermented grog of some type.
Didn't they have fermented milk as well?
Oh, the Mongolians, those weirdos, fermented mare's milk. Come on, guys. Yeah. Of all the damn things you could ferment.
Well, isn't that how we got cheese?
No, it's actually alcoholic.
Isn't there some tribe in Africa that ferments blood or something? Or
yes.
No, those are Klingons.
Wait. They drink blood and they spit in bottles to make freaking liquor.
Yeah, they do. Don't. I don't want to talk about it. I like that where everybody was sitting around chewing the fucking fruit and spitting it into a giant bowl is like one of the things that haunts me. Right?
Germs.
Yeah, it's like as somebody that's like moderately germophobic to begin with, I'm like, you assholes.
Those are the ones that they go around the table. They use that bowl to wash up their face and everything. And it goes from the top down where they do their power knots in the fucking bowl, and then it goes to the next person. They use the same water and they fucking clean up the next person.
That was from the Viking show.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking you guys are talking about.
No, we're talking about there's a tribe in the Amazonian basin.
So is it like your social hierarchy? How far down the line it is before you get to wash yourself?
Right.
Yes,
if you're the last person, they've been washing their balls and shit in the water. You're like, yeah.
Dingleberries floating in it.
And we wonder why society was so hard to crawl out of the fucking goo and invent fucking the internet. It's because we did stupid shit like that for thousands of years and killed each other off with diseases. Yeah, fuck nuts. Anyway.
But that's when men were men and sheep
were scared. It does seem like there was a lot
scared. Men were men and the sheep were scared.
On the note of beer, weren't the pyramids like built and paid for by beer?
Yep. Yeah. Well, one of the really cool things, a long time ago, I wrote up a paper about the beer that was brewed at the time of the pyramids. One of the really cool things about that beer is that it was intentionally, like the medicus, like the people that were like the medical side of things, right? Because they had really cool medicine back then. They would even do trepanation for brain injuries. They drill holes in the head. They could do eye surgery. They did all sorts of fucking cool shit. Well, one of the reasons that nobody died, they're like, why would these people like fucking getting all these crazy wounds and surviving? Is because they were brewing beer that had tetracycline in it from a special type of fucking mold that was in the area of the Nile River. So they had tetracycline beer, and we can go back and look at the people who, because tetracycline leaves a very specific layer in your bones, right? So we can go back and test people who've ever taken tetracycline and see if they've had tetracycline before. So we can go back and look at these and see in the clay pots, hey, this, like the tetracycline, like its concentration was really fucking high, like almost 100 milligrams per 100 milliliters. So like your dose would be 1 cup of this beer a day, like 3 times a day, would be the exact same as taking the tetracycline medicine over the counter. So it's like, it was like, no shit. So they had different types of different things, right? They had this, okay, well, you went to the medicus, you're like, all right, well, hey, I've got these big cuts and this stuff. And he'd be like, all right, well, you have a cough. Cool. You need this beer from this guy across the town. Well, the guy across town is brewing like beer that has amoxicillin in it. All right. He's like, oh, you're going to come over here to the dermatologist. He's got the tetracycline beer. He's going to do the general surgery guy. He's going to take care of you over there. So antibiotics and brewing have been around forever. That's how antibiotics are still made to this day, as giant fermented batches. And then they just basically reduce it down and harvest the dead, bacteria and stuff that they use to grow it in there. They culture E. coli and teach it and yeast to teach it to shit out the antibiotics as a byproduct of their metabolism. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, man. So you've had your medical beer. Back in the day, they had the medical whiskey on the submarines. I was listening to this new book series called Crash Dive, which is basically it's a realistic book series based on World War II submarines. And this goes with like the first submarines on. And they always had medicinal rum and medicinal whiskey on board for when people got like freaked the hell out, because it's like, hey, we almost died there. Here, everybody.
Isn't all rum and whiskey medicinal, really?
Yeah, it can be. I mean, sure, yeah.
I mean,
they go around
depression.
Yeah, they go around and give everybody their big ass dose of that. So it's really, really neat. To this day, I mean, you can find the recipes for the beer and brew the exact same beer that they were drinking in the Egyptian days. So beer is a long, crazy, awesome history. Alcoholic beverages have, and if you could think of something, and the people that brew it take really meticulous notes, unless you're like me, where it's just kind of like, FAFO, bitches, and I have a couple of recipes, but I keep tinkering with them. But yeah, if you're gonna make beer's the easy one to make, guys. How many of you guys have actually made your own beer?
Now, does making a mash count as a beer?
Yes, because if you're
I made lots of beer.
Shit, yeah, if you have to make a good tasting beer in order to have good tasting in the product, like a whiskey or a liquor, right? Because if you don't, you're not going to want to taste something that just tastes like skunk ass.
In that case, I've got 55 gallons of beer waiting on me right now.
Yeah,
it's beer.
I do that.
Where
beer now, not vinegar.
Yeah. If it has to, well, there's a very okay.
I slipped and forgot to put hops in it.
Yeah, exactly. That's a bitter. You don't need that shit. Anyway, if you do the malt, like not the malt. What the heck am I talking about? The malt lacto fermentation. The malt lacto fermentation afterwards, it makes your whiskey way, way smoother. So there's a primary fermentation with all of the.
Oh, you mean a sour mash?
Yeast. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's a malolactic fermentation. That's what it is. It's going to take your lactic acid and turn it into malolactic acid, and it really smooths it out.
Well,
and that's why you set back on the lees.
Anybody who knows me knows I love teaching people things, but I had a person that I know for a fact is a raging alcoholic ask me to teach him how to make liquor, and I said, no, not doing it, partner. Why not? And I said, because you could kill yourself for $30.
Yeah. Well, at least he'll die doing what he loves. We could always be so lucky. As far as making a really good, let's say you're Jim Bob and you want to make your first batch of wine, right? There's no reason for you to overcomplicate this shit. You can literally just go buy organic juice from the store, dump it in some shit, add a little bit of water, add a little bit of sugar to bring it up to like 1.2 specific gravity, or ignore that altogether, jump the freaking juice in, throw in some yeast, not fucking bread yeast. Guys, stop it with the bread yeast.
Listen, bread yeast works. Bread, they're all the same thing, but
no, they're
different.
not.
Yes, they are. They're like isolations. Each one is a different isolation.
Yeah, but they've been isolated for thousands of years.
Like bread will work. It just won't be as fucking clear, and it won't fucking.
It doesn't taste good at all.
It's the flavor profiles he's worried about. Yep.
Yeah. If you're going to do, here's what I would do. I'll use EC 11118. If I'm just going to just randomly throw some juice together and throw something in there, I put really aggressive yeast, EC 11118. It's a champagne yeast. It's going to add grapey flavor to anything and champagne flavor to anything you put it on.
Did you say turbo yeast? I heard turbo yeast.
I don't fucking use turbo yeast.
It's the most horrible yeast you can get, just in case anybody's wondering.
That shit was designed to make fuel. It makes fissile material. It doesn't make fucking drinkable shit. But EC 11118, it's the overall champagne yeast. It's really, really good, really, really easy. Who's jacking off? It sounds like somebody's jacking off.
You're the only one that shows like shit is fucking playing.
Oh, maybe it's the bird in the background laughing.
It could be. It's
the bird. Yeah, it's the bird. Okay. I was like, all I hear is huff, 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 huff. And I was like, God damn it, Deadpool. What's up?
I'm sorry.
Notice I did not bring up porn in this episode.
Yeah.
Nice.
We made it 13 minutes. Now we just did. So, so you can take an EC 11118, just drop it, just pour your juice into, you want to leave some headspace, pour your juice, a little bit of juice out, drink a cup of it, pour your rest of your, the packet in there, put the top on loosely, stretch a glove over it, random, and so the glove can inflate, and that'll keep out all the oxygen because the glove will inflate a little bit, then to where it stretches the rubber band will leak out the gas, so the glove will come back, shrink back down. Works out really, really well. We're talking just a standard medical glove. You can use anything you want, a freaking condom, like prison style.
No,
I was gonna say it sounds like you're making fucking prison fucking juice.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're making hooch.
Is that orange juice and white bread?
I
use
do
the
have
white
one
bread,
little...
and then you use the fruit juice. You put the white bread in a fucking glove. You poke holes in it. You throw that in a fucking back in the toilet in a jar.
You sound like an expert on prison stuff, sir.
Oh, you go to rehab.
I might have attended an institution for a little while, or never.
Allegedly.
That's the word I was looking for. Allegedly. I might. Yes.
So, I do need to add one little thing into that instructional thing. I mean, it's a small detail, but I gotta emphasize something that you kind of said. Make sure when you read the juice box, it says 100% juice.
Yeah.
Don't get the stuff that's full of corn syrup and weird shit.
Yeah, just like organic.
Well, they're eating sugar and they're making alcohol. Now, yeah, I know what you're saying. It'll work better, but will it eat corn syrup at the sugar stores?
Yeah,
it will eat it, but the flavors will be off if you're making a wine. If you're making a distilled spirit, that's a different story. But we'll get into that later.
Yeah,
right. All right.
So making a wine, so that would be like the easiest way to make a wine. The easiest way to make a beer is to make a malt liquor. You could just buy like light Pilsner malt and just mix it with freaking water and at the right ratios and throw in some freaking yeast and call it done and make, something similar to a Miller Lite or a Coors Light. Right, like it's so simple and stupid and easy. And that's what they're going to sell you in pretty much all the beer making kits. Is bring water to a boil, dump in this malt liquid, and this malt. It can either be the liquid or the powder. Stir it up, let it come down to temperature, dump in your yeast, and call it a day. Let it ferment for a week. Then to drain off the top into bottles, and you're good to go. And that's one of the really, really easiest ways to get started making beer. And baby steps wise, you can pretty much skip that and just go into the harder core stuff. But I mean, it's really easy. And
the basic difference between a beer and a wine is beer is made from some sort of a grain and wine is made from a fruit. That's the only real difference.
You know what the weird thing is? I actually ordered 4 gallon fucking crafts today with the bubblers before we decided what we were doing on the show today. so I can make
nice. Mead is really, really easy. Mead is honey and water and yeast. It's pretty easy.
I don't know if you buy like local. I guess mead's its own classification. It's not a wine or a beer.
In between, there's mead and there's methomil, and most of the people that are drinking mead,
methomil has just fruit in it, right?
It's mead with fruit. Like it's basically mead with
they finish it off with fruit.
Kind of like a fortified wine or something, huh?
Yeah. Well, like my favorite mead is methomil is blackberry mead, and everybody likes blackberry mead. You take a shitload of fucking blackberries. You take your regular standard mead, which is water and honey. It's like 1 pound of honey per freaking gallon of water or some shit like that. 2 pounds of honey per gallon of water. That's what it is. And then you take like a half a pound of blackberries per gallon.
More honey, more liquor.
And squish those up and dump them in there. And then dump your yeast in and just let it go down. And it'll eat the fruit. It'll eat the honey. It'll turn into methyl. It's called methomil. And it's great. The Vikings used to drink it all the time, not just straight mead, but like generally some type of methomil. They would use the honey to kind of like bump up the percentage of alcohol and use the fruit, which was a limited supply, to add flavors and different things. Like spruce tips make a great methomil. It adds like a lemony type of flavor to it. So, yeah, pretty cool. That's pretty easy stuff. Now, if you get into the big boy classification of stuff, you get into distilling. And distilling is where my passion, as well as Trim's passion, kind of freaking lives there too. Mm-hmm. That's kind of our baby. As I started off, allegedly.
I'm fascinated with the idea of it. I haven't actually tried it.
Where I live in Texas, it's legal state-wise and illegal federally.
I may have actually made some fucking race car gasoline at one point in time, and
that's
it came out really bad.
That's a free permit. If you want to go ahead and get into making legal alcohol, you can apply for your free permit to make your own fuel. And you can make your own fuel up to like 10,000 gallons or some bullshit.
But you have to
submit to inspections.
You have to submit to inspections. You have to do it in a separate building for your living quarters. And as soon as you make it, you have to put something in it to make it, I forget the word, make it undrinkable.
It's a bitterant.
Denature it.
Yeah. Or there's a bitterant too that they'll sell you.
Oh, like they put alcohol in the fucking in high school. Like you kids stop drinking.
You see, like when you make your ethanol fuel, you got to like immediately pour a little bit of gasoline in it to make it undrinkable.
Yeah,
according to the rules. But if you have that permit, you cannot be making it to drink because they will come check on you.
They will randomly, and so that permit to me is a trap.
It's exactly what it is. It's a trap. And the reason they hate people distilling alcohol so much is money.
Taxes.
They don't get their tax money. They tell you it's for safety, but you're more dangerous pumping gas than you are making alcohol.
Yeah, if you blow yourself up making alcohol, you've done so many fucking things wrong. It's not even funny. There should be zero pressure involved at any time in making alcohol because it's an open thing. A still is an open to the atmosphere device. So there should be no blockage, no pressure buildup at any time. And you're cooling the vapor back down to a liquid so you're not just filling everything up with vapor to make a giant fuel air bomb. If you've blown yourself up, you fucking deserve it.
Yeah.
And
honestly, you're trying to do something stupid if you blow yourself up or cause a fire with that.
Goddamn hillbillies do it, all right? Like, people dumber than the people who try to grow mushrooms in their mom's fucking panty drawer make alcohol on a regular basis out there with possums and shit in it.
It's almost too easy. I hate to say it. I mean, once you learn the process, it's like, oh my God, this is easy. Next thing on my list, if you watch the show Moonshiners and you think that's how you make liquor, you're wrong. They intentionally mislead you in every single episode, at least one little piece of the process, just so you know.
Yeah. One piece of the process is always jacked up. One of those things, you remember there was Pappy, the guy who would
Popcorn Sutton?
Popcorn Sutton, yeah. And one time he was like, well, a raccoon crawled in, or it was a possum. Possum crawled into one of his big brew tubs, a 500-gallon tub, and drowned. They drank a bunch of the beer he was making until he got too drunk and couldn't get out and drowned. And he's like, so what's a possum worth? He's like, well, about a half a gallon extra. It fermented. He got an extra half a gallon from the fermented possum.
Gross.
I was like, that's gross, but whatever. About half a gallon.
That's disturbing, actually.
Yeah. So let me walk through one of the first ways that. So we better start. We better start with talking about different types of stills.
Okay.
All right. So you have your regular kind of a T-top type still. It's just a copper pot still. Yeah. It's just a copper pot still. It looks like an inverted teapot, basically, with a straight little hose coming off of it. It fits very shittily on top of another, like the exit from your boiler. Your boiler can be made out of fucking damn near everything that doesn't have lead in it. All right? Like almost everything. Anything metal that doesn't have lead in it can become a boiler. My first boiler, allegedly, was a beer keg, right? Worked out super, super good. It was like, what are they 16 and a half gallons, 17 gallons, or whatever? 16
30.
gallons or whatever. Yeah. The beer kegs?
The big ones are 30.
You about a beer ball?
Yeah, okay. But no, like the big one. No, mine was a big one. I guess 30 gallons. Yeah. Yeah.
I think
so.
Wait a minute.
It's not 30 because I know
there were
30 gallons at a party.
I thought they were 16 and a half, but
let me Google it. I don't know.
Yeah, they're only like 15 gallons or something, or 16 and a half. I remember that
Texas keg for sure is 30 gallons.
Yeah. But one of those was great. You only want to fill it about 3/4 to 2/3 to 3/4 full, and then cook it low and slow on a banjo burner, and until you bring that up to temperature. Now, my first ever still was just a stainless steel pipe, and at the top of it was a big old plug you could put in there to stick a thermometer in. It was just a rubber stopper. It was a 3-inch pipe. It just fit on just a flange I put on the bottom of the pot. They used the pot still, and then the leg came off the top of it, and I had a little water jacket on it. The cold water you want to come from the furthest point, and the warm water going to come out up closest to the still. So, and then I used it as a pot still for a long time, and the highest I'd get was like a 50% ABV. Which is pretty good for a pot still. But then I shoved it full of 100% copper scrubbies and turned it into a reflux still. And it really took off then. So I'd get like 90% off of it all the day long at that point. So we're gonna talk. So you have your pot stills. These are old timey stills. When you see stuff that says pots distilled, they are ran through a pot still at least one time. Usually it's several times to clean it up. And the alcohol is coming off of it between 35 and 55% ABV.
And as Sheldon would say, fun fact, the old-time moonshine jugs used to see with the 3 X's on it. Each X represents how many times it ran through a still.
Yeah, those are how many times distilled. Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
So you would capture all your distillate coming off the first time with the pot still, and you would just capture 100% of it. You would taste it as you go, but you're just doing what's called a stripping run. That's where you're just taking 100% of everything that comes off of the still. It's going into big glass jugs or into another container of some type. You're just catching 100% of everything until the still gets up over boiling. Your still will never reach boiling, like 212 degrees, while it's still got alcohol in it, because the alcohol evaporating itself is cooling down the liquid that's in the boiler. Does that make sense to everybody? So you can track the tip, how much alcohol you have left, because your first bit of alcohol is going to come off about 160 to 165 degrees. But that is not really alcohol. Those are methyl ketones. That's methanol. That's hexane, pentanes. It's a whole bunch of nasty shit. It's called your 4 shots, and there's a mathematical equation to know how much of that based on how much total volume you're going to chuck. Personally, I just chuck like the first pint that comes off the still, and that gets rid of my 4 shots and most of my heads right off the bat. And then I capture everything else for a stripping run. So now you've taken your low wine, which is just like your beer, and you stripped it into another tank. You're going to take all of that and then water it down to below 40% alcohol. Put it
with good water.
With good water, good clean creek water, drinking water, avoid chlorine, but just good water. And put it back in your still once you have a whole bunch of it together, then run it again. And that'll be your number 2. That'll X number 2. Now you start making cuts. And cuts is you take a whole bunch of little containers, you line them up, and you fill them up about halfway. And a lot of people use pint glasses. A lot of people, like, depending on the size of the still, it might be one of those little tabletop ones you can buy off the Amazon. They only hold like 2 gallons of liquid. Those are using shot glasses to make their cuts on that one. But what you're doing is you're taking those little glasses and you're going through there and you're labeling them as you go. You can use it with a marker. You can put it on a big piece of paper and just put like a 1, 2, 3, 4 next to them. You're going to reuse your containers a bunch of times, and you're looking for the jar that smells the best, tastes the best, and has no burn. And that's your hearts. That's the good stuff. Now, usually the jars on either side of those, to some extent, are going to be good ones you're going to also want to keep. Everything else you're going to save and run it again. You'll know when to stop saving alcohol in your final run when it starts smelling and tasting like a wet dog.
Wet socks, I always thought. But yeah, I can see that.
It smells like my dog when she's fucking bathed. Like she goes to the creek.
If I were a distiller, I would as I'm pulling the small jars off, while it's still fairly warm, I'd hold right underneath my eye and let the vapors come up into my eye, and if it burns my eyes, I know it still has heads in it.
That's a good one. Yeah, I like to take
that way you don't get so fucking drunk while you're sampling.
I like to take a drip of it and put it on, like just a drip as it's coming out on my finger, and then touch it to my lips, and then touch it to the inside center of my tongue, and that gives me a chance. That gives me a pretty good taste for it. Does it burn my lips? Does it burn my tongue past the initial like sweetness receptors and everything else, so you don't pick up any of those other flavors? That's a good one. That's how maybe allegedly I would do it allegedly. Yeah. So you're going to save all that, and you can run that a third time. But save those hearts. Don't just dump them back in there. Save them. Make something out of them. One good way, one fail-proof way, is I find a lot of shit that tastes really good at 50%, if I add a splash of water to it, it suddenly can either taste ridiculously awesome and you have good shit, or suddenly that little bit of water opens the bouquet up and it tastes like fucking charcoal ass or something. And you're going to dump at that point, right? It's never going to become good. There are some ways, and we'll discuss those later, about how to fix kind of skunky or fucked up alcohol with apples. Apples, because the cellular structure of apples or pears, they'll pull in a lot of the cogners that are from our codgers or cogners, however you fucking say it, that are giving those funky flavors into the cellular cells of the apple, and the apple itself will turn gray, and then you just chuck that bastard and leaves behind really good taste of shit. You can also run it through a Brita filter. I've seen that work a bunch of times. I've seen it. I personally, allegedly make vodka. I have a 6 foot, 3-inch in diameter stainless steel tube with a very fine mesh on the bottom that's full of activated charcoal pellets, and I may or may not, with a very large funnel, run my alcohol through that. Now, you need to be very careful. You need to run water first through activated charcoal. Due to the chemical reaction that happens when alcohol and activated charcoal come together, and without the presence of water, they will light on fire. It will get extremely fucking hot, like 250, 300 degrees, and then burst into flames, making a giant bazooka of flaming hot death, and bad things will happen. But you dump like a gallon of distilled water through there first to make sure everything's nice and wet, and then dump your alcohol. And you just taste what's running out the bottom until it tastes like alcohol, then save it. Because the alcohol will not mix with the water. It'll push it right out in that situation.
Interesting.
Works out really, really well. We're in the process of actually going to be opening a distillery, hopefully in either late 2024, early 2025. So we have quite a bit of our equipment already. It's on the list of shit to do. It's kind of like my retirement plan. It's now that they're offering craft distilling licenses instead of because forever, you either had to do big boys or not. There was no fucking intermediate, right? Now there's actually craft distilling permits, which allows you to do 100,000 gallons a year. And I'm like, I don't think I'll ever get there. That's a lot. So, yeah, it works out really well. The reason you need a permit, and the reason you need a permit, guys, and it goes back to the whole taxes and shit, is that you owe $10, and I think it's $10.80 per 1 gallon of proof. One proof gallon. 1 proof gallon is 1 gallon of alcohol and 100 proof, or 50% alcohol. You owe $10.80 tax on that. Everybody's like, well, that's a lot. Well, at every gallon, there's 5/5 of alcohol. So if you divide that up, it's only $2.20 per fifth that goes to your taxes. So that's not bad. That's why you can still buy $4 or $5, $10 cheap shit Russian alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
Because your taxes aren't that extreme. You just have to stay on top of them and pay them quarterly, bitches.
So you're talking about running it 3-4 times through a pot still, right?
Yeah.
The hillbillies came up with an idea of having the output of their pot still go into another pot that was full of water or alcohol or something.
The thumper.
And they made a thumper, and it made it just like they were running it twice every one time they ran it. They were doubling their output. And they also called it a doubler at one time. Just for that reason.
Yeah, those are pretty darn cool. And what happens is that the vapor of the alcohol coming off of their hot is going into there and heating that up enough to send the alcohol that's in that through another set of pipes and other cooling and everything.
Yeah, and if you want to get fancy, you can put flavored fruits and stuff like that in your thumper to impart a little bit more flavor into your alcohol. It's another option.
You see that a lot of time with gin. They call it the gin basket.
Yep. Yep. You could put a gin basket on stills like ours, or like we would pretend to have.
Pretend. Allegedly had it allegedly made to my alleged personal specs by a company called Steel Dragon several years ago.
Heard of
allegedly.
Them.
Oh, they make great work, dude.
I know. I don't trust anybody, so I allegedly made my own.
Oh, it was a pretty penny, but this is going to be our our legit production still.
Yeah, mine would never pass any codes. The one that's in my head that I allegedly would have made.
Allegedly, but ours had to be registered and made very, very specific way. It's a 8-inch column.
So let's talk about Fearl's alleged one. It would be what they call a. You want to say it to me? His is a flute.
Yeah, mine's a flute, hillbilly flute. Well, I mean, hillbilly flute is a registered name for him, but it's a flute, and it looks like a flute, right? So, and I have a 8-inch and I have a 4-inch. And my 8-inch one, I have never unpacked. I unpacked it when I got it, and looked at it and checked the packing slip, made sure all the freaking pieces and parts were there, packed that big bitch back up, stapled it closed, and put it in storage, because that one is my production still, and it is not coming out until we have our license. Because there is no fucking way I can justify running an 8-inch column still and call it a hobby still. All right? Because
and part of your licensing process, they have to inspect it to make sure it's never been used.
Yes. And it's we're talking about 8-inch. It's 8 inches and 24 feet tall, right?
Yeah, with an 8-inch still is going to put out fucking 5 gallons, 10 gallons an hour or more.
Yeah. But if you're doing a hard run, like a stripping run, you're probably looking at 20, 25 an hour. If you're doing like a production run, you're probably looking at 5 to 7 an hour. But I got it. It's got what's called a shotgun condenser there at the top, and that runs cold water through a series of pipes that causes the distillate to rain back down through a bunch of bubble plates. And I'll put pictures up, I guess, to kind of.
You are mistaken, sir.
What?
What you have is a deflegmator.
Deflago, that's right. I can't remember the damn word. Deflagrator.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean that's because that word's. You show me another point in fucking time if that word's ever been used. There's no way I'm going to remember what a deflagrator.
That's why I love it so much. It's such an odd word. It's awesome,
dude. It's the weirdest word. It's currently the weirdest word in my lexicon. But here, let's see. Where are we going? Podcast picks.
I have a shotgun condenser, or in my dreams still, I have an actual shotgun condenser. They're almost the same thing. They're very similar. Mainly, the difference is where they're at on the still. The shotgun is at the output of the still to condense the evaporated alcohol, and a deflegmator is used to recirculate the alcohol inside the still.
I too have one at the end of the still.
That's more than likely I forgot the name. Dang it! I didn't see yours, but it has a solid pipe with a jacket around it.
Oh no, it's a series of pipes with a big jacket around it. It's a shotgun.
Well, then you have a shotgun and a deflegmator. You have both. Then.
Ooh, a hybrid.
It's very pretty. I very much enjoyed it. I will send you. I think you've seen a picture of my small hobby still, right?
Yeah.
How do I remove all of the?
By the end of the show, I'll remember what the other damn thing I was talking about is called.
So, as far as in the state of Texas, this is as big as you can go with calling it a hobby still. It cannot get any fucking bigger. Any bigger than that, and that's going to be in our picks there. If you wanted to see that, what that looks like, that's going to be our show note picks. Yeah, that you can. That's my hobby still. It's a little 4-inch diameter little guy, and it does everything I want to do on a 30-gallon milk jug, basically. A very heavily modified 30-gallon milk jug. And that anything larger, and the state I'm in, Texas, would consider it a production level still, and you would be in a lots of problems. They would beat your ass. Now, one of the very, very important things is to not sell anything, guys.
Never sell and never tell. That's the rules.
If you're gonna make alcohol, don't fucking sell it. So if we're looking at this right here, we got the parrot, which is the little guy off the end. Right, and a parrot works by here's a close-up of what a parrot looks like. The parrot is going to sit there and hold a alcometer that's going to float up and down inside there. The alcohol spills over the top and down into a little bell. The bell goes out into the little end, and the end goes into through a tube or whatever you got into your jug to get. In that picture, that is a lot. Okay. That's very high proof.
And when he mentions an alcometer, what that is, it looks like a giant glass thermometer, and it has a certain weight in it and a scale inside of it. And the more alcohol is in the liquid, the less dense it is, so that alcometer will sink, and you can read how by where it's touching the alcohol or the liquor how much alcohol is in it. So that's how you rate it.
It has a lot of math.
Yeah, and they're calibrated by temperature too. So. But we won't get into that too much. It comes in a little instruction packet.
It does. But that's a lot of math.
It's the density thing, right?
Yes. And there's also one for measuring your mash. It's the same type of deal, but it's calibrated to mash. So it tells you how much alcohol is going to be in your mash when it's done fermenting.
Your potentiometer.
Mm-hmm.
Your alcohol potentiometer.
So you have a proof and trails hydrometer, and the other one, I forget the name of it, but it's for measuring your mash.
Your specific gravity is the potential alcohol for how much sugar and how much available fermentable sugars there are available.
Yeah. So if you're looking to get one to measure how much proof your alcohol is, you got to make sure you get the one that says proof and trails. Otherwise, you're getting the one that's measuring the before, which you're going to find in the normal beer store.
Yeah, that one's not gonna help you at all. Now, these things are pretty fragile.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, you can accidentally fuck them up by breathing on them. I joked you could breathe on it wrong, but no, I mean, like, if alcohol is very, very, it's not very dense. So even though that little alcometer floats, you can't just drop it into your metal parrot. It'll go all the way to the fucking bottom, break, and then float up and then sink again. And now you're just screwed.
I've been doing this for over 10 years, and I've broken 7 of them already.
Damn. I've broken 2 in a long time. And I feel bad about the 2 I broke.
In my early days of learning to do this hobby, I used to sample as I made it, and after a while, you're pretty goddamn drunk.
Well, that's part of the fun.
You can't
get kind of like seeing the bubbles on a jar and knowing what the content is.
Oh,
that what they're doing is they're slapping it and they're trying to see how fast the bubbles go away, and they're applying some sort of stupid voodoo to it to try to figure out like, hey, that's high proof. And
yes, they're measuring the what they call the pearls or the bead around the edge, and when they shake up the jar, it's the round right where the liquid meets the jar around the inside. They want to count how fast those bubbles disappear, and the faster the bubbles disappear, the higher the proof it is.
There is not a single one of those sons of bitches that can fucking count. So
they're just guessing. They're getting an educated guess by doing it that way. That's about all they can do. But you drop that hydrometer in there, and there's no lies. But if you have any sugar or any flavoring into it, that hydrometer is no good anymore. It has to be pure liquor for it to work. If you want to flavor it after you measure it.
What you should do, I mean, if you're gonna do that, but I just allegedly age stuff.
Well, everything I say tonight is alleged, so let's just go ahead and give it up right now. I'm gonna pretend like I already do it.
Dude, if I had my damn way, this would be my profession. I could honestly say that I've never fucking sold any. I've made made some for friends. I've given away a lot to family, but I've honestly never ever sold any. Just because it's against the law, and I'm the kind of fucking person that if I ever fucking did, it would be like the one person I sold it to would be the undercover cop. Like the only undercover ATF agent.
Well, and the way the law works, if you're making liquor for yourself, it's a misdemeanor. The second you sell it, that's when it becomes a felony. And that's the biggest difference.
In the super awesome, ultra great state that I'm in, it's they don't really give a shit. As long
most places don't anymore, honestly. Most places don't.
If you're doing it for your damn self, they don't give a flying shit. But if you're doing it and you're selling it, now you're taking away the government's money, and they give a lot of fucks.
Yeah,
an incredible amount of fucks. So how mine works is it works with bubble plates, and bubble plates are a lot bit different than little scrubbies and shit like that. I can't find a picture.
Imagine a round plate made out of copper, usually, with lots of little holes in it. One-way holes, though.
There we go. I found a picture, but it's not my picture. It's just a picture from online. So that's what the plates look like allegedly in my still. And so if you look closely, the alcohol comes up through the bottom of those plates, and it goes through those little slots, and it creates and it bubbles up, blah, 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 blah. And it looks like it's raining and jumping across the top of everything. Now, when the alcohol reaches the level of the one that's facing down, it drips onto the plate below it. And that causes a cooling of the plate below it, and it causes a cascade effect. So the alcohol is constantly going up, one plate, one plate, one plate. But when you're doing that, when you're doing these different stuff, you're causing theoretical planes. And there's a lot of math fucking involved in it, but hillbillies can do it, right? So it's not that crazy. So theoretical, so the theoretical planes in a bubble still are practically infinite. That means those are very different micro amounts of degrees of temperature-wise. It's different. We're going to get different alcohol percentages off. So what you're going to do is you're going to let it sit there and cycle and rain up from the top to the bottom and rain up from the top to the bottom. It'll just be it'll look like it's just raining inside there until you unbalance it by turning the cold water down just a little bit. And that'll allow the alcohol in the top plate to now turn into a gas fully and go through your condenser and into the parrot and into your jar. And that's going to allow you to make sure that you get the highest percentage of alcohol you could pull off. And mine pulls off 180. So what is that? 95% pure alcohol, pure ethanol, allegedly. But this is a small bubble still. This is like a 2-inch or 3-inch bubble still. Mine has 16 of the bubbles around on each plate, and it has a plate in between each one of those sight glasses on the baby still, and the big still has 28 of those little guys on each plate, and I have 14 plates. So you can get crazy.
Yeah, and
wait, as a rookie like myself, the bubblers, I thought when you were making like mead or fucking alcohol that you didn't want to have the water oxygenated because
it's not oxygenated water, bud. It's alcohol.
So it's
there's no water involved. It's the actual alcohol that's bubbling inside the still. What it's doing is acting like a whole bunch of little thumpers inside there.
Okay,
as they go up.
Yeah, it's just re-going again. The alcohol is basically distilling on each plate again and again and again, and getting more pure until it goes over the top.
And that's the beauty of a flute still, like Feral has. He can change the amount of bubblers that he has, and carry over more flavors. The less plates he uses, the more flavor he carries over into his output. But
I could replace the plate
slightly lower proof. Yeah.
I could also
each one of those locations where you can add like additives to go ahead and add flavors.
Yeah. Yes, that's a gin basket at the top.
I could replace that plate with a screened-in basket, and put juniper berries or licorice or whatever I want in there. It's a popular additive, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Juniper berries makes gin.
Allegedly, this is what it would allegedly look like. Allegedly, if it was raining, if you go to the podcast pics, you can see a alleged bubbler played allegedly in action. Allegedly.
Now let's get into what I have. Mine is allegedly hillbilly cult FAFO'd together son of a bitch. It's a stainless steel boiler with a water heater element in it for electric heat, controlled by a solid state relay for temperature.
See, that's awesome, man. I still have to use alcohol. But I mean, I still have to use gas. But I would love to have a rheostat like one like that. Fucking love that. You just turn it to whatever. You could turn it to the dial you want and just freaking call it a day, man. Sit back, drink a coffee, and wait for that bitch to get up to temp.
Yeah, and then mine is what I call a convertible. I have a pot still version head that I can clamp on with sanitary clamps, so I can do my stripping with a pot still head through a shotgun condenser. Take that off when I got it all stripped down. Put on my reflux column, which is a 10-foot, 3-inch copper pipe full of what they call rashig rings, which are similar to your scrubbies and stuff like that, but they're just little ceramic beads and rings that are in there. They catch the alcohol.
Is that like one of your whiffer biscuits?
Yeah.
The whisker biscuit. It's a real thing.
Let's just say it's scrubbies for now, just to make it better, because scrubbies work just as well. So this column is just a straight up, almost 10-foot tall pipe, and at the very top there's a coil of copper, and you run water through that to cool it off, like his deflegmator, but it's just a round coil. So the alcohol boils up, hits that copper at the very top of the still, and falls back down as it liquefies inside the still, and it'll keep going up and down. And in my still, since it's so tall, it creates temperature gradients inside the column as it goes up.
Are those ones with windows on the side to go all the way up?
I have a window in mine, but Fearless is the one with the windows all the way up. Mine just has a single window, so I can see what's going on in there. But on mine, I got it going, and I measured the exact point in my still where when it equalizes, when it just keeps going up and down for a while and it stops, there's temperatures all the way down. It gets hotter as you go towards the bottom because it's more and more water in it. And I know for a fact that the boiling point of pure ethanol is 173.1 degrees, I believe it is, something like that.
Yes, sir.
So I have an outlet, a 2-inch outlet on my pipe at exactly the point where it becomes 173 or 174 degrees in my still. And when I'm ready to start collecting alcohol, I just open up that valve, and I have 173 degree vapor coming out into my condenser, and I get 196 proof alcohol out of it all day long.
Damn, son!
But it's completely flavorless. I mean, it's
leave some
almost pure ethanol.
Leave some vagina for the rest of the shit.
But my alcohol doesn't have your whiskey flavors and your complex stuff like a lot of guys want. This is just straight alcohol that you're gonna have to mix with something else to get some flavor out of it. It just provides the kick. Yeah.
Yeah, I can get a lot of flavor.
Right, your still is like completely tunable.
Yeah,
they're really fancy, and I can get lots of flavor if I just use a pot still, but I don't get the high proof.
You guys are making me really miss my miss allegedly doing stuff allegedly.
Right?
Damn.
Allegedly, I got a run going right this minute. 2 years. 2 years I haven't made a run, and I decided, you know what? It's time.
It's been longer.
Hiatus every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, you don't know what to do with it all. You only have so many shells in your garage,
And since sauna is illegal,
that is exactly right.
It makes great wedding gifts, party gifts. bring it to a cookout or the bonfire, and everybody loves you. It's the greatest.
I throw some really.
It's like tying a pork chop around your kid's neck so the dog plays with them. I mean, everybody loves it.
I've thrown some really, really good parties. Now I like making my bottles look all pretty, and have some pride in your freaking work. You're gonna put so much work into it. Don't just put it in a stupid ass jar. You can get a floor corker for so stupid cheap, and put it into used wine bottles or wine glasses, and it looks nice.
Do you turn any of yours into whiskey?
Yes, sir. There's actually some rum. I just uploaded a video of what would, I guess, allegedly be 5 gallons of rum, just doing rum things, aging rum like. I do. I very much like whiskey. Very much enjoy it. I tend to like my whiskey better than I like the store-bought stuff.
Oh, store-bought alcohol is garbage.
Oh, God. Once you've had your own stuff, and once you've been educated on what tails and heads taste like, you can never drink fucking store-bought shit again because you're like, well, that's got fucking heads in it. Well, that's got tails in it. God, this is shit I throw away.
What's that vodka all the kids think is so great? Grey Goose. I had a shot of that in the bar a couple of years ago, and I was like, my God, what is this fucking crap you're serving to people? It was horrible.
Yeah. It's stuff that I would personally chuck, but people fucking love it, man. People love it. And but here's the thing is that everybody who starts off a distillery, right? They start off doing craft stuff. And man, they start seeing dollar signs when they go legal, and then they start just making looser and looser cuts.
I throw away like a 50-gallon mash run. I probably throw away 3 gallons of good alcohol. The normal people would say that's good stuff.
Yeah, I'd say that Garrett Brothers, who makes a really, really, really fine whiskey. They are probably an Andalusia. You probably don't heard of either one of those. They're kind of local brands.
What did you call me?
Andalusia whiskey and the Garrett Brothers. Both of those are local kind of brands and craft distilleries here in Texas, and they make a fine drop, like something that I would enjoy competing with. So yeah, this is I put my stuff into bottles. I do. And I package it up pretty into bottles, but then it goes back into the crate that the bottles came from. And then it just goes into storage because it's always nice to have like, oh man, like, we have to go to dinner somewhere. Shit, we should real crap, like grab a bottle, like let's take that. It'll look really pretty. It looks nice. And nobody knows I didn't buy it.
Well, let me ask you this. What is the importance of aging? Like how they age shit in barrels?
Okay, that's going to be if you're making a whiskey or something along them lines where you're aging. Well, I guess to some extent, white liquor does good with aging a little.
Well, white liquor you're going to want to bring it to about. I find that so if you make a run and you get like a high proof alcohol off of it, you're going to want to bring it to about 60 to 65% to age it, so you get all the vanillins out of the out of your oak. So what aging does is aging mellows it out. It brings out the flavors quite a bit. You pick up your vanillins, you pick up some sweetness from the oak. It allows the complex flavors to develop from the interactions with there's not just alcohol or ethyl alcohol. There's a whole bunch of little tiny different free ranging like alcohol, like byproducts that are in your production that are going to interact with each other and change their flavor profile over time. Usually in a very good way. Usually in a very good way.
Allegedly.
Yeah. There's been times when it hasn't been in a very good way.
But I made something once I called it Sunshine. it was completely experimental. I made alcohol out of sunflower seeds.
That sounds interesting.
And when I first bottled it, it was the most god-awful, horrible shit you ever put on your lips. But after about a year aging, that stuff was fucking delicious.
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of really complex shit. There's an entire science. There's a PhD program just based around aging alcohol. So it's not something that's like we can really kind of glance over, other than shit changes with time, and it could change for the better or worse.
there's a million people out there investigating ways to make aging happen faster. But honestly, as far as I've seen, nobody's really succeeded at it.
I have 2 certificates from Orlando from Budweiser. You know, the kid saying that I was a brewmaster.
Nice.
So, I mean, I don't ever remember you're actually learning the science, but it is
But yes, if you're making a whiskey, if you have a little oak barrel, awesome sauce. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. But if you don't have access to that, you can take really good like oak heartwood that you cut yourself, not something you bought from a lumberyard.
Steal from your local park.
Split it into little tiny kindling sticks. The heartwood, the center wood of the oak, and then take a torch and burn the outsides of it. And then just throw a few of those sticks in each jar and put it on a shelf and forget about it. And come back in a year or two and give it a sip.
So instead of burning the inside of the barrel, you're actually just throwing the actual wood.
You're putting the wood in the barrel instead of the liquor in the barrel. Yeah.
I buy oak spirals. They're only like $3 or $4 a piece.
Yeah, you can buy them pre-made. Yep.
So I buy oak spirals because there's extra surface area on them. And if you look at that video of me like rocking around a jug, you can see a spiral down in the bottom of it. And what that does is it simulates being inside of a barrel. The temperature change. Now you need to have your barrel closed, right? So that has a big stopper in the top of it, so that as the day gets hot, you don't want to age stuff in a controlled environment. That's why they age them in like rickets, like the big giant hot barns, is so that during the day, you create a little bit of vapor pressure that forces the alcohol into the wood, and at night when it cools down, the alcohol goes back into the alcohol, and it just breathes in and out of the wood, getting more of the flavors, getting more filtered by the charcoal and by the everything, and it really moves around inside of the barrel quite a bit. The same kind of thing happens inside of a jug with a spiral or wood chips. If you want to do wood chips, Brewhouse, I wish they would sponsor us. They make that little still that I sent a picture that I put in there. That's just a little column still that could also be ran as, that's just a little pot still that can be ran as a column still with the little scrubbies that are down there at the bottom. That's almost identical to the same still that I started on way back in the day. It's just an ice chest full of ice water and a little submersible pump and let her go. But on top of a beer keg. So that it's really not that difficult. Aging is over complicated. People overcomplicate it. Add wood chips. Dark wood chips are going to give more caramels and more toasted sugars. Light wood chips, like you're going to get, there's light, medium, and dark toast. Light toast is going to give you almost just pure vanillins and some fruity flavors. Your medium toast is going to give you some of the vanillins, some caramels, usually some like fruity flavors, like stone fruit flavors, and then you're going to end up with a little bit of toasted sugar and some sweetness on the end. So I would suggest that everybody starts with medium toast chips or a medium toast spiral, just to start with, and don't just jump into a dark toast.
Wait, I have another question. I just thought of it with the when you guys are allegedly making the shit, when you go ahead and you're evaporating the alcohol, and then the thumper brings it back down. I've seen shows where sometimes running hard and fast or slow and steady. How much of a difference does that make in the end product?
I find that hard and fast, you get more weirdness, more nastiness. You get more skanky taste. I don't know how to. I don't really know how to. I don't know.
If I'm doing a hard and fast, it's usually just a stripping run, and I plan on running the final run really slow. That's the one that counts. Is that last run.
Yeah, if I'm doing like hard and fast, it's always stripping run. If I'm doing anything else, it's gonna be nice and slow, and give it plenty of time to have all of the heavier, nastier tasting stuff drop out and go back into the bottom. Yep. It's a lot of fun, man. I've given bottles of alcohol to some really important people. I'm sitting here like,
if you want to use your own wood sticks like I do, you can toast them in your oven also.
I got this is I've toasted them in the. I have a little I bought off of a garage sale, one of those toaster ovens, like the cheapy fucking piece of shit toaster oven. That's what I use. So this
wood smells really good in the oven, by the way.
Oh, it's glorious.
It almost smells edible. It's crazy.
This is that's my baby bourbon. It's a bourbon that I made that I distilled like 2 days after my daughter was born, and I aged it, and then once right after her 1 year birthday, I bottled it, and every year that I open a bottle and drink it with my wife and some friends on her birthday.
Nice.
And I have enough bottles that because they're not very big bottles. They're like 16-ounce bottles. They're little bitty bottles. But I have enough bottles that should be like 30 before she runs out of bottles.
Nice.
Yeah, I would. And because we can't actually like get graded and have awards and stuff, I have awarded myself many things. Like I said, man, I enjoy making it. I enjoy making my
It's something to be proud of when you do it. I mean, especially when you're traveling, you meet another distiller and you guys are comparing notes, and it's fun. I beat the last guy I had a competition like that with beer. I'm just warning you.
Oh, buddy, yeah, I will.
Independently tested, and I beat him.
I got bested show at local dog park 4 years running. I don't know.
I went and visited a buddy in Pennsylvania a few years back, and I knew he was a distiller, so I brought some of mine, and we went to the club where he had this club that he went to that you had to bring your own liquor in, and they served it back to you. It's kind of weird. I never seen it. Yeah.
They fucking do that here. There's some places that do that here too to get around liquor laws.
Yeah, that's what this was, and he goes up to the bar, we're all half shot, and he's like, "Hey, bartender, bring us some of Trim's and some of mine," and he had it laid out shots, and he's like, "You try them and tell me which one's better." She's like, "I don't want this horse shit. I've had your stuff before." She told him. Then she drank mine, and she looked at me, and her eyes got big. She said, "That's dangerous right there." I was like, "All right," but that was just apple pie. It was just apple pie, though. It wasn't pure. But I'm good.
I enjoy I enjoy just making like whiskeys. I
really enjoy. I like taking like fancy store-bought liquors and making them myself out of moonshine. That's my pride and joy. I can make Di Serono. I can make apple pie. I can make rum chata. All your root beer schnapps, every flavor of schnapps you can imagine I can make. Just fun. I brought some to work once, and my boss told me never ever do that again because everybody was missing work the next day.
That's
perfect. I might have brought a little too much, like 10 gallons.
Jesus,
for 3 people.
There's like 20 of us, but that's a half a gallon a person.
Yeah, it's not excessive.
I set myself on fire that night. It was great.
I would have banned you too, son. Like, holy shit.
You know how when you have the pure stuff, you flip a beer can upside down, you pour a little bit on the end of the beer can, you light it on fire, and you show everybody burning at night. Like, look how pretty and blue this is.
Yeah, you can't see it during the day. Yeah.
And then I sneezed right as I was burning it, and it just went all over my arm.
Jesus.
I put up some pictures of what I make in various labels that I make for fun. There's the vodka. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy doing it. Part of it is that, like you were saying, when you meet other people that also do it, is that just trading is a lot of fun.
It's great.
It's a lot of fun, especially if you're good at it. So
trading strains.
I can't wait to try some of Deadpool's mead when he makes it.
Hell yeah!
You guys are all so fucking far away from me. I don't want to ship. I can ship beer and I can ship wine. I just won't ship alcohol.
Right. That's a little scary.
I mean, if it could break or something, and I'm not worried about getting in trouble because I'm not selling the shit. I'm worried about it breaking en route and like getting everywhere and lighting the fucking plane on fire or something.
Right.
You ship it inside fucking the box when it's filled with vermiculite. That's what they do with the chemicals when they put them in those bottles, the jars. Vermiculite actually is a buffer, so even if they kick that motherfucker, it ain't gonna break.
I thought about using wine shippers. I make a lot of wine. Like, it's actually, me and my wife were just out at the new property and looking at it, and all the tunas are ready on top of the cactus and the cactus fruit. And so we were like, oh, man, we didn't bring anything to pick them with, so we're going to go out this next week and pick up a whole ton of, man, God, Lord, no wonder she hates me doing this shit.
Oh, man. House. The Juneberries are ripe here. I should pick a bunch and make some Juneberry wine. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I've never made a wine. Believe it or not. Actual wine that I plan on drinking.
I just noticed, I looked at the background. This was like our old, this is me pressing plums to make plum wine. I love I have a that's my little wine press. I have that little wine press and I got one bigger. And I love it. It's a lot of fun, but I was just looking at the background, the wall, it's got a spray of plum juice on it. There's fucking plum juice everywhere. I'm like, no wonder she fucking hates me doing this shit in the fucking house.
You guys familiar with what commodities are?
Yeah.
You mean like oranges?
I trade commodities quite a bit, bud.
Like for poor people that they give them food, commodities.
Oh,
food stamps?
No, I was talking about
like government cheese kind of people,
like food banks.
Oh, okay.
Food stamps.
Yeah.
Well, a person who I'm related to used to work at one of those places, and they had a shitload of table grapes that they couldn't give away because they were some of them were overripe. Dude, give me 30 cases of them. And I decided, well, I'm going to make wine out of these table grapes. Just the green grapes you find in the store. Good Lord. I never want to go through that again. Trying to crush grapes by hand. Oh, it was horrible.
You got to step on them motherfuckers.
No. Stop making it difficult. You don't need to step on shit.
Well, I didn't have a juicer, so.
You don't need to. You could just run the damn things through a freaking a meat grinder. That's the easiest freaking way to do it.
Well, at the time, I didn't even own one of those, but I own one better than yours now. So.
Yeah, you do, you damn bastard. Now I've got to get.
I should revisit that now.
Now I got to get one of those big ass carnivore bastards. You can run an entire
That's what I have.
You can run like a baby goat through the damn thing. Whole.
I make the Tim Allen sound whenever I make sausage, man. Just
I'm jealous. Don't get me wrong. I'm freaking jealous. I'll catch up. I love making sausage. I love fermenting sausage. I love it. I made tons.
Did I tell you my latest acquirement?
What'd you get?
It's a used one. It's the stainless steel bandsaw with meat grinder built in.
You bastard.
It's like one out of a butcher shop.
Yeah. Those work so well too. I just want the bandsaw because breaking down, I'd say that probably takes me the longest, is breaking down.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I break down big cattle and stuff, it takes me a minute.
I got to get a new blade for it, but other than that, the motor and everything works on it though.
Wait, speaking of new purchases, I allegedly may have gotten myself an ultrasonic cleaner today.
Sweet.
Yay!
They say you can use those to make liquor.
I've used them to age liquor. I've put in at 440 megahertz. I've put in alcohol into the cleaner and added wood chips and turned that bitch on for like 20 minutes. And
it's sort of
mixed results. Yeah. I mean, it's mixed results. Like, does it color it up? Yes. Does it get all the flavor profile? No. Is it close? Yeah, pretty much. But you're missing a lot of subtle like flavors and stuff.
Yeah, stuff that mellows over time.
Yeah. There's a lot of these. There's that 1 week whiskey company or whatever that is patented a ultrasonic way to age whiskey, and they do it very similar to that, but in giant vats, where they have these rods that they drop down in there and then vibrate them like ultrasonically to age their whiskey really fast. And I've tried some of it, and I was definitely not impressed. I was like, okay, yeah, I guess you can sell this gimmick, but it's not like happiness
it's not
and sunshine.
Not like 40-year-old scotch or anything.
Oh no. Yeah.
And trust me, 40-year-old scotch is freaking delicious, and I hate scotch. I don't know what it is about 40-year-old though.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
I like the Gentleman Jack, the silver label. Isn't that age longer or something?
I think so.
All right, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ruin your thing. I just wanted to.
No, that's part of the discussion.
I don't know much about Gentleman Jack. I was just posting random pictures of beers that I've made. Now, beer is in a weird spot legally. You can make it absolutely fuckload of beer, and it's traded like. And if you join a beer group, man, it's traded left and right, back and forth, up and down, and they just like trade 20 packs, 30 packs back and forth to beat each other. It is a lot of fun. It really is.
I will be adding a FAFO beer trading link in the Discord.
My question is, why do they discriminate against distillers so much?
And you can trade it. Like, I can legally ship you this apple braggot. And let me talk to you about the apple braggot right there. So apple braggot is a apple cider brewed in the style of a light beer. So all I did was take apple cider and that light malt extract, the powdered light malt extract, mix the bitches together, and then I threw in, I think, D47, which is a great yeast for if you're making like apple wines or fruit wines. I threw it in there. It came out to 7-ish% ABV, and it tastes amazing. It tastes like a really well done apple beer. Not like a hard apple cider because it has more of a silky beer mouthfeel than an apple cider. But it came out great. And I made one. I have these 7-gallon fermentation pails. They have a little spigot on the bottom that stands about 1.5 inches off the bottom, so it doesn't pick up any yeast. And they have a built-in little, what do you call it? The little bubbler on the top. Like the pails are, God, I don't know. I think they're like $40. Totally worth it. You just rinse the bitch out, throw in the next batch of stuff, and you're good to go. 7 gallons of alcohol makes an unfucking believable amount of beer. Like I think I made 122 bottles of that apple braggot. Like, I was giving it away. People came over. I threw a party. Everybody drank the shit out of it. I tell them, don't throw the bottles away. The bottles are infinitely reusable. You could the capper is so cool. Cap, boom. Custom caps, whatever you want. Some of my caps have like American flag on them. Some of them are red.
You're going to be like that guy on Breaking Bad and Breaking.
I was just about to say that with a ship busted. Motherfucker.
Were they what?
The show Breaking Bad where he's bottling his own beer and he got pissed off and pulled too hard and shattered it and cut his hand.
Oh, I was talking about when they were blowing up in the garage and he thought someone was shooting.
Oh, it was right.
Yeah, now that does happen. People died back in the old days. Like, if you look up the history of people who brewed champagne, like the Champagnier or whatever the fuck they were called, I actually probably accidentally pronounced that right. Anyway, those people wore like armor and fencing costumes because the bottles would explode and kill them. So you need to be really careful that your beer is done fermenting. It is crystal fucking clear before you bottle it. If it's a hazy beer, it needs to go right into the refrigerator, or it will continue to ferment inside that bottle. A little bit of fermentation is great. They sell little drops, right? That are little like pure sugar drops you can add to your beer, and it'll continue fermenting a little bit, and that'll give you the natural carbonation. I don't do it like that. I draw off 100% of my beer into a secondary sterile container, leaving the yeast cake completely behind. And then I have a little app that's like a Brew It app. I think it's called Brew It, actually. And I put in, hey, I have 6 gallons of beer. I want it to naturally ferment. I want it to naturally be fizzy. And there's a sliding scale. That's all I need. I don't need how much fizz per fucking ounce. I just need a sliding scale, more or less, right? And then it tells me, okay, we'll add 4 ounces of pure dextrose, or add 6 ounces of dextrose to 6 gallons, stir it up, and then bottle it. But that's how I do it. I do it all in big doses, bottle it, cap it, and then put it in the fridge. It'll slowly ferment over the next week, and you'll end up with a nice fizzy beer when you open it. Kind of like Blue Moon. Blue Moon is all bottled in the same way, and that's why it has that little bit of yeast cake in the bottom.
That's my favorite beer, Blue Moon.
Yeah. Blue Moon's about the same way. They draw it off into a secondary container, bottling container, add a bit of priming sugar is what it's called, and then bottle it up, and it ferments and gets fizzy on the way to your shelf.
What'd you call me?
1 second. You guys keep talking.
So, what's up? How you doing?
So wasn't there some... Oh.
What the hell just happened?
I have no idea. So wasn't there a beer that was brewed by monks for a period of time that they ended up enacting a law about because they put mushrooms or something in it? It was psychoactive, like the Belgian beer law or something like that. Just my random beer knowledge, if that's even accurate.
I've never heard of it, but it sounds awesome.
I believe that's what it was. I'll have to Google. I was hoping that with all this beer talk that someone might know. Yeah, because I thought that they put something in the beer. And like it was only collected for, like only the monks would drink it. And like it was a certain area. Now I'm having a hard time finding it. But like I know, what was it? In regards to alcohol, there was like the mount in, the Greeks, they'd have those parties and they'd have that like psychedelic drink, and technically I don't know if it was a beer or what it was, but it was, they'd all get together, like the higher ups would get together and have this drink, and only they would participate in these rituals and have these manifestations of God. And that's the ones that would like pass along all the writings and shit.
Well,
maybe Farrell, do you know about the monks with the, I don't know what they put in the beer. And I think they made a law in regards to it. They couldn't incorporate mushrooms in beer after that.
Yeah, it was actually mushrooms. Yep.
Okay. So
it was mushrooms. It was Amanita species or Amanita species. Yeah. But yeah, it was monks, and they would do that shit, and they would see God and give you prophecies and fun stuff from it. It wasn't me. I wasn't in trouble. No, the other adult females in the household had got a rumpus, or what is it called? Rump, where they get angry at each other. And
they had a Donnybrook?
You mean a cat fight?
Yeah. Meow. Bobcats, maybe. Or like something, or lynx. Like something kind of angry. Anyway. So alcohol. Yeah, no, brewing beer is really great, guys. Like, to all of our listeners, this is not rocket surgery, okay? It is a lot fucking easier than you think it is. And it's a lot more fun than you think it is. As long as you stay away from selling it, as long as you're not dumb and putting it all over fucking Facebook or Twitter, you're going to be okay. I mean, I have some pictures up, but I shared some pictures tonight from several years ago where the metadata is just going to show, if there is metadata on it, it's going to show a place I lived at like 5 years ago. I don't give a shit. Also, I'm not selling it at all, and my shit's put up and will remain put up for a very long time, except for beer. I really do think it'd be fun to trade wine and beer. Yeah, I'm totally down. Like, wine shippers are super cheap. You guys see them with the styrofoam containers that you just slip the like bottles into, and they can hold like 3 or 4 bottles, and they ship. They fit into the medium or the large flat rate shipping bugs. So it's pretty cool. I say we trade some shit. It'll be fun.
We could have a contest.
Yeah, that'd be fun too. Why is everything gotta be a contest? Who's gonna be a? What would be? We have to come up. Like, I'll have to make another statue. It's got to be something fucked up. What would it be? It would be like the FAFO squirrel, like lounging and getting fed like grapes by a bunch of naked women, or what?
A Ginosaurus Rex.
Ginosaurus Rex.
You just want it so that you have like a mated couple.
Exactly. I wanted to have them so they could be like bookends.
I'm trying. I don't even want. God damn it! Now my brain won't stop picturing that. Fuck, bastards. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, guys. I encourage you to experiment. I wouldn't just. Now there's.
No wonder you guys were ignoring me. I've been fucking muted this whole time.
Who was that?
Like, nobody listens to my jokes anymore. You fuckers! I was thinking.
There's that home distiller. Like, what's that website? It's the home distiller. Is it
homedistiller.org?
Yeah, that's a fun one. If you're getting
there's
started,
a lot of good information in there.
There is a lot of really good information in there. If you're getting started, go on there and lurk for a while. If you're really interested in distilling, learn the basics. There's a million YouTube videos on the basics. Also, as far as like survival goes, having a still is going to be really hard to beat. Not only can you make not only can you make alcohol, but you can take any water source, salt, fresh, dirty, whatever, even water that has alcohol or that has like biofuels that are fuel in it, and distill it out to pure water. You can take and refine and make gasoline or kerosene with it. Very easily. There are official oils that you can burn. So overall, as 10 out of 10, you need a still in your life. It'll do nothing but make your life better. It'll make you more attractive to the opposite sex or same sex, depending. It will, hair on your chest or nipples, and bring sunshine and happiness and roses to your life.
What about my Man Pro?
Oh, that falls off. Falls off instantly.
Damn.
Yeah. It's preferable to waxing. Yeah. But any other questions? Any questions, gentlemen? Does anybody have anything else to add?
Alcohol.
Wait, we haven't even touched on like Saki, rice wine.
Saki is rice wine.
Okay. I've made that once. That's with the koji, right? Like, is it called koji? It's the rice balls that are like.
Right. It's basically bacteria turns the starch into sugar.
Fungus. It's a fungus, son. It's a fungus. It's koji. It's a fungus.
Interesting.
It's a koji fungus. You could buy it, but it has to be bought alive, I believe. You can't buy dried koji, can you?
You can buy it. It's actually a Saki packet, just like you buy your dry yeast packets. And you after you go ahead and you cook the rice, you let it dry a little bit on a rack. And then you sprinkle it on top, and you let it sit.
That's so cool. It's Aspergillus oryzae.
Yep, and then you just let it. Then you put a little bit of water in there, and it actually just that bacteria eats it, and it just fills the fucking jar with fucking alcohol sake.
It says Aspergillus oryzae, also known as a koji mold, is a filamentous fungus used in East Asia to saccharify rice, sweet potato, and barley in the making of alcoholic beverages such as sake and soju. And also to ferment soybeans for making soy sauce and miso. I've used it before, not even known it, because I make my own like soy sauce and miso. And well, no shit. You have to cook the rice, I believe, and then you put the rice in. I've seen My
it's
one
like
run
basically do the steamer rice, and then you just put the steamer. It's got to be the short, sweet rice because if you use the long rice, it tastes really nasty.
My one run with this was I did use the short, sweet rice. It was I don't know, like 3-star brand or some shit like that. I bought it locally, and it turned into a giant sticky fucking mess. And then I put it into a cooler. They kept it warm, and I put like a heat tape on the inside of the cooler because it has to be pretty warm. I believe like 90-something degrees. And then I inoculated it, but I bought it live. I thought I only had to buy it live, but our local brew store has it live. Like you could buy koji balls, like they're just like into a ball shape and wrapped up in plastic. You just break it up, crumble it into your shit, and then stir it in. And it smelled really interesting. As it was
kind of like a pineapple, fucking a fermented pineapple.
Yeah, it smelled really interesting as it was fermenting, which was pretty cool. But then after a while, like it became like pretty cool. It would kind of liquefied quite a bit. And then I just opened the little valve on the bottom of the cooler, took off all the liquid, put it through a strainer, and then never drank it. Gave it away.
You put the whole container with the rice into a fucking cheesecloth, and you fucking squeeze that shit like you're doing the mushrooms with the alcohol. And
it was pretty much exactly like that. Yeah,
and then you just add more rice, and it keeps filling up.
I was afraid. I was like, so I was like, here, drink this to like people at the brew store, because the brew store, if you make wine or beer, you can bring it in and they'll judge it, right? And like they'll tell you if it's good or bad, but they're really friendly.
This sake will kill.
I'm like, here, drink this. And they're like, it wasn't bad for your first go. And I was like, I'm looking at him. I'm like, are you dying yet? Is it going to kill you? Like, but like, I never got around to trying it. I didn't make a lot of it, maybe like 1.5 gallons. So like, 5 or 6 bottles. But now that I know it's an aspergillus, I kind of want to do it again. It's a fungi. Hey, that's a good way to end this bitch, because I mean it's a fungi. It is a fungal podcast, right?
Right.
Fungia.
Fungia. I think I don't know what your punishment should be for doing that.
It's a
out of the 4 words we said all episode, I appreciate the fungi.
But yeah, I kind of feel like there needs to be a consequence for fungia.
You didn't need a lashing for the fungia.
Yeah, I don't know.
I quite liked it.
I think it'd be.
I'm just a fun guy.
Bang.
Yeah.
Any mushroom related news going on in the world?
I have started my project with the crazy happy mead.
Nice.
So everybody keeps saying the alcohol will kill it, but I don't believe them. So it's in process.
It should
allegedly in process.
It should extract it.
That's what I said.
Yeah, it should be fun. It should be fun. The bigger problem is the water, but even then, it's water soluble, so it should be okay. Like, you should be okay. I don't see why it wouldn't work. You can do it with fucking honey, so I don't see why it wouldn't work with water.
Yeah,
I think it'd work. I like the idea. I think we should do that. As far as mushroom-related news, I guess my wife was on a trip to go see her family, and she was like 500 fucking miles away, but she took some mushrooms with her and got like all the old people in her family like high, and they had a great time.
Did you see there was a bust in Los Angeles? It's like 650 pounds, and it said it was worth $1.5 million.
Wow!
Yeah, I need to know their people.
Yeah, like that's 650 pounds.
Yeah.
How many ounces is that?
Hold on, let me get the Googler out.
16 times 650.
650 pounds, huh?
Yeah.
650 pounds times 16 ounces is
10,400.
10,400.
And what's the going rate for an ounce? Like,
I don't know.
Grand, between 8 and a grand.
Okay, so that's 10.
Really?
Okay.
For an ounce? $800?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I'm
This isn't fucking cocaine. I thought it was like $50 to $70. Like
I was talking about hashtags. Hashtags.
That's roughly $143 an ounce, according to the math that they gave.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot.
I think they triple it.
Yeah. I was like, first off, who the fuck is growing that much freaking mushrooms? That is a lot. Like that's
a lot.
That's the person that's getting ready for when it becomes completely legal, and they're like, "Bam, there we go."
Is that a fucking warehouse?
You said it was in California, though, right?
I think it was in Los Angeles. Yeah,
but isn't it legal in Oakland?
I don't know
because there's a church there.
I'm not familiar with that country.
Oh, it's it's the Turtle Island Church or something like that.
Yeah,
I stay away from that fucking shithole part of America. I don't think it's communist bastards.
It's a different country. That's not America.
Yeah. Right?
It's California.
Shit.
You can't do anything fun there. But they punish you for everything. They take away everything you have and give it to the homeless.
Do you guys hear they're trying to tax people for leaving the state to move away?
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, you owe us money. Okay, well, I'm never coming back. Whoopee.
They probably don't really take that right out of your taxes.
They can't. It's not their state tax. They can't. What they're doing is they're imposing a tax. If you ever come back to California, you're gonna have to pay it to enter. It's like people are like, well, fine, then I guess I'm gonna pull all my business out of California. And they threw a little bitch fit because a bunch of they started to pay for all these pet projects they have. They just started charging everybody and their mom who had a fucking job.
Or they're collecting all the homeless?
Yeah. They're Pokemon Go in the fucking homeless population. And that was very insensitive of me.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if that's how they collected people?
with homeless balls.
Yeah.
Relocating you.
I choose you.
Yeah. Come here, homeless, toothless crackhead. I choose you. And then they throw him into a fucking Holiday Inn Express and kick everybody outside of the hotel. What I loved about one of my favorite fucking stories about California is the city bought this hotel. Okay, it was a reasonable hotel. They fixed it up, and then they turned it into apartments for all these homeless people. It was like.
Are you talking about the one where they weren't happy with peanut butter and jelly?
No, I'm talking about the one that was like 150 fucking rooms. They moved all the goddamn homeless people into it within a fucking week. That somebody had stolen the copper out of the fucking walls, like fucked everything up, and they were and like half of the people sold their fucking water heaters. Like they just like
the best demolition crew this side of San Jose.
It was within 2 fucking weeks. The power was off because somebody had stolen the fucking copper to the goddamn wire box outside. Like it was just a total fucking shithole. And they went like Lord of the Flies in there. And then they had to kick everybody out. And they ended up, the place was so fucked up that they couldn't even fix it. They had to demolish the hotel. And it cost them something like $220 million all yet from start to finish.
Well, can you imagine how bad that smelled after they left?
Oh, dude. Like dead fucking animals, socks, and old fucking armpit cheese. Yeah.
It's like talking about California. Have you guys ever been to San Francisco? The smell in San Francisco is so pungent that you could taste
it's like Austin.
Man's shit.
It's like fucking Austin. Austin, everybody's like, Austin's so cool, except for people who've lived in Austin or go to Austin regularly. You're like, it just smells like piss. It just smells like piss.
Awful. Like, I mean, at least, designate a spot where you're going to do that.
Yeah, like everywhere.
Yeah, it's what it is. It's like the open doorway. Fuck it. I'm going to line your threshold with my shit.
Well, and here's the thing, is that there are so many programs that those people are homeless on purpose. They want to be. All right. They want to be homeless. They get free money, they get free housing, they get free phones. Now, the only caveat is, just like here where I live right now, is the only caveat is you have to be sober. Like clean and fucking sober to take advantage of those. And if you're not clean and sober,
you get in the system. Once you're in the
they
system,
drug test. They drug test.
Only by you.
If they're gonna spend, it costs them like $15,000 a month to do all this fucking shit for these people. If they're gonna spend that much money, they drug test them all the time. And you know what? They just can't fucking do it. They don't.
Yeah,
they want to be.
They don't have any repercussions for it. I mean, why would you? If you can live off your addiction and you still are in an area where you can live outside, they're not going to bother you. Because it used to be a thing. Like, if you were homeless, you'd get harassed by the police. And that's not a thing. Like, it's an accepted way of living now, which seems interesting when they kind of...
They're called urban outdoorsmen.
I haven't heard that. I've heard, like, the unhomed or
it's called,
something.
what is it, City Rugged?
City Rugged.
City Rugged. So they bred for the new pair of boots we got on. These are Crocs, except they got cleats and they're urine proof. They're great for defending yourself if you need to kick someone in the groin. It's a kick and rip. Those cleats will save your life. And because they're waterproof, they're also HIV cleanable. All you got to do is just dip your feet in the provided bleach bath. You're good to go.
We'll have your shoes AIDS-free in no time.
No time at all. Impregnated with copper, these AIDS-free shoes will also help you fight off some regularly like diseases you're going to regularly come across, like chlamydia, herpes,
HPV.
Needles on the floor of your tent.
The cleats will give you the clearance to be able to avoid the needles.
You rise above as a good Lord.
Rise above. Just like 6 pound, 8 ounce baby Jesus intended you to do. You're closer to heaven.
6 pound, 8 pound baby Jesus.
This is the best baby Jesus. Little baby Jesus in golden diaper.
Tiny infant Jesus.
Thank you for this pizza.
Hey.
Thank you for delivering me my Dominoes.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a dodgeball.
You're not first, you're last.
I want to go fast. Cut around the meat. Cut around the meat.
I'm on fire.
Cut around the meat.
Drop and roll.
You know that's a good buddy who dies on top of you to help put out the fire that you think is on.
The invisible fire. Yeah. Oh. Speaking of invisible fire and methanol, so we would collect the methanol that comes off the still first, the heads, and then we'd use it as a diesel fuel supplement. Clean the headers of the diesel fuel. Add it to your diesel truck when you fill up. Fuck, it worked good.
Wow, like it would, a carb cleaner?
Yeah. You just add it right to the gas tank in a freaking diesel truck. It cleans out the fucking carb. Like, it's just like a fuel treatment. But it worked good, man. It took us old ass freaking. Now understand that this is not mechanical advice, but we'd had about 6 ounces of it to a full tank of diesel on this old ass dually Dodge. The thing was like a 2001, 2002, but it had like 300,000 miles on it. Been used to tow trailers and hotshot stuff all over the place in the oil field, so it was pretty dirty. And man, it running like a freaking top after two tanks of gas with 6 ounces of the heads in it, and each one. Now it burned hotter, it ran hotter, but it cleaned out the, I guess, ETR valve or EGR valve or whatever the fucking shit that is. Anyway, don't suggest you do that with a gasoline vehicle. It will not work out in your favor. They dry out all the seals. We use it. We use a lot. Time. We use the heads. We use the heads and the tails a lot for like lighter fluid for starting fires.
Lawnmower gas, cleaning.
Yeah, lawnmower gas. Like if you got a 2-stroke engine, it'll fucking burn it. Just mix it with a little bit of a little bit of oil, like it says. It'll burn it. It's great for cleaning. Like fucking phenomenal for cleaning. I still have like, I don't know, maybe a 2-gallon jug. We used a lot of it during the Rona, but now we still got like 2-gallon jug of it. And we still use it to clean stuff, like just spray down, something that just want clean real quick, sterile real quick. Like if you got like a butcher block, rinse it off, spray it down with that, let it just air dry because it's like 90% fucking alcohol.
I like going down the Skid Row in front of all the liquor bums and just dumping out 5-gallon buckets of it in front of them.
Down on Skid Row.
Yes.
Look at this alcohol. Fuck you. Get your straw. Drink off curb.
Oh, now the down on Skid Row, man. That's such a good song. I don't even know if like probably only like 4% of our fucking listeners even know it.
Everybody knows that. Everybody. You remember that total eclipse of the sun about a week ago?
There's a total eclipse last week?
Motherfucker.
Shadow.
No way. Seriously?
Boom, boom, boom.
Feed me, Seymour.
I don't think
now.
There very well could have been a total eclipse last week, and I missed it because I didn't leave the house last week. So.
No,
We're talking about tent last week.
We're talking about Little Shop of Horrors, man. It's like one of the best fucking movies in the whole 9 yards. Oh,
that was last weekend that I went camping. I just sat at home all week.
Suddenly Seymour is right there beside you.
I always resonated with I'm a dentist.
Oh, I rewrote that song for my fucking graduation from medical school. I rewrote that song to be a medic. I rewrote that whole song. Because you enjoy causing other people pain, you'll be a medic. Yeah.
And you'll be a success.
Yeah. Oh my God, man. The leader of the pack. What's that, guys? Oh my God. Yeah, that's God, dude.
I've watched that before during the show.
Oh, that's why you space out. Little Shop of Horrors is amazing. It's really, really good one. They haven't remade it and fucked it up like they did Ariel, have they?
Dude, that is a remake. Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors?
Yeah, but no, I understand that, but they haven't like
Disney. No, they have not. No.
Okay.
They haven't wokeified it. No wokeified.
Yeah.
Because I mean, get their ass beat by the biker wearing handcuffs and a fucking tutu.
Well, that's the black eye. I mean, she's doing what she loves. She's a son.
Right, yeah.
That was the excuse for everything in life. You're just doing what you love.
Oh man, I love that freaking show.
I actually sing that shit to my shit when I'm doing it about, I've given you sunlight, I've given you rain, except, for my mycelium, trying to get it to grow.
So why won't you grow? Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Nobody's going to understand what the fuck we're talking about. They're going to think we're crazy.
You rain.
You've given me nothing.
If it makes you feel better, I already thought you were crazy before you started singing.
Don't I know something? Should I open a vein? But please grow for me. And it's like fucking, yeah. Oh God, that's one of the best. I love that.
After listening to you sing that song, I don't want to win.
Yeah. You guys always fucking trick me into fucking singing after I've had a few beer, you fucking asswipes. But
we're trying to stop you from singing.
Other South Pacific, Calamity Jane, Paint Your Wagon. Paint Your Wagon is one of the best freaking musicals of all damn time.
Music Man.
Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. And Oklahoma. But Oklahoma, like, I like the Jed song where he's trying to talk the dude into kill himself. You could never get away with that shit these days. And then like the Old Man River, those are like pretty much the only really good songs in Oklahoma. And then you got Calamity Jane, which was just a really cute show. Like it was a really cute show, man. Windy City is mighty pretty, but they ain't got what we got. A lot of fun. Seven Brides for Seven Brothers is probably one of my favorite shows, and it was a requirement way back in the day when I was dating people, like that you had to fucking know Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, or have watch it within the first like 2 dates, or it's just not gonna happen. Like you must know Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. It's one of the best shows in the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys not know what Seven Brides for Seven Brothers is?
No.
Oh, it's glorious. So okay, there's seven brothers, right? And they get lonely.
Do they have 7 brides?
They get lonely. So the older brother goes to town to trade like all the trapping and shit like that. And he goes and he brings back a wife, Millie.
Bring back hookers.
No, he brings back. He talked this chick into into marrying and brings her back, and then the other 6 brothers are like, well, shit, we want wives, so they go and kidnap them, and it works out great.
That was the beginning of the sex trade.
Nah, maybe, whatever. Anyway, It might be like, okay, if you look at it through the glasses of 2023, they did kidnap some bitches and took them back to the remote cabin where they then had sex with them and then fought their families to keep them. So yeah, okay, yeah, it kind of just, it's a little rapey, but overall,
so that's probably why no one else knows what the fuck it is, because you're watching fucking rape porn.
No, it's not. It's so. I'm alone.
Did you say rent porn?
Yeah,
rape porn.
Okay. Everybody has AIDS.
Cause I ain't got no
AIDS.
feminine forget to share the
On that note.
Oh, that was a good tone.
It's a good freaking. It's 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. Is the fucking
No,
shit.
I was being serious. I like that. You really had a good pitch there for a second.
I guess
I can't hear myself with my fucking headphones on, so I can't tell if I am in pitch or not. These are noise canceling. I can't tell. I'm just fucking singing. I can sing.
Oh, we can.
But I can't
tell.
I can't tell the notes without hearing them. And so y'all are just like, it's just an alcoholic, deaf person me singing. I mean, not alcoholic. Functional alcoholic. Functional. I only get to drink
medicinal drinking
a week. And I drink on our podcast. I'm too busy otherwise. Oh, I made a shitload of kimchi, by the way, fermenting stuff. Worked out great.
Mm-hmm. I've never had kimchi ever.
Oh, I should send you some. Daniel-san. Oh, you need kimchi. Yeah, kimchi good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Clean you out.
Make you healthy.
Clean that colon. Yes.
Many
my,
shits you
my
have.
colon is fine the way it is.
Giant shit you have.
Whiskey and go
clean you out like amazing proctologist, forensic proctologist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now.
Now for something completely different.
I'm still singing the songs in my head from 7 Brides for 7 Brothers.
Time to go.
Is that a song from Utah?
Iowa.
I don't know if they are. I don't know where it was at. I don't know if it was in Indian country. So is all they just said. I mean,
dots are
it was it was an Indian country.
Yeah.
So it's not rape porn then. It's just fucking it's like History Channel.
Yeah, no, it gets old. It's an old song. Like
what?
About them sobbing women. So what basically happened is Adam, the main character, decides to like read the other brothers parts from the Bible
Eve
about, and he got it wrong.
Yeah,
because he's not good at reading, and
I think Farrell's muted us.
No, I'm just ignoring. All right.
All right, I'm already 45 minutes late.
Well, fuck, you should have said something. Jesus.
I'm a professional. Unlike you motherfuckers who left me here stranded by myself on the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah. We were busy.
I was around.
What did I end up having to do?
You went to SeaWorld.
Oh, yeah. My God, that was a shit show. Holy crap. That deserves its own fucking episode. Do you know what happened? Okay, so SeaWorld didn't have... Let me tell you real quick. I'll tell you real quick. SeaWorld didn't have any fucking plan for like people staying late, right? So they had the same amount of staff they would have on a normal day. They didn't change the programming of the lighting going off automatically. So the fireworks display was at like 10 o'clock, right?
People are falling in tanks.
It was like 4 or 5 extra fireworks they normally shoot off every week. But then they let all the staff go home at like fucking when the park normally closes at like 8. So there was no fucking staff, and all the lights in the park shut the fuck off at like 9:45 and never came back on. So you have probably 270 or so thousand people
with their cell phones out with flashlights.
We have all these people in the fucking park, and a lot of most of them from out of town. And nobody knows where the fucking because it's many miles to like the parking lot, right? And nobody knows where it's at, and there's no lights. And it was like it was borderline stampede. People freaking the fuck out, stumbling into poles, falling down, packed elbow to elbow.
So they're drunk.
Yeah, they were drunk too. Like they served a lot of alcohol, and then everybody just fucking went home. Like all staff went home. The guards went home. The police went home. Everybody fucking went home. So by the time, after about an hour and a half of stumbling around the dark, everybody found their way. Well, my group anyway, of maybe like 10,000 people in a herd, found our way out just by like using Google Maps and following each other by holding on to each other's elbows, basically. And
so no one was smart enough to bring out their cell phone and turn a flashlight on.
You tried that, man, but this is a big place. It's many miles. It's a big, big place. A cell phone camera is not going to show you what's 200 yards in front of you. It's going to show you what's right in front of your feet. So
I'm talking about the flashlight on the fucking camera to look in front of you.
Yeah, but it's only going to show you what's right in front of you, not 200 feet. So people would have their cell phone cameras on, then walk into a fence, and then try to turn around, and behind them is 4,000 or 5,000 people following them like sheep and crush them against the fucking fence. Yeah, this was a total fucking shit show.
Fatality.
I am surprised nobody died. I'm really surprised nobody died. Everybody kept calm, but it was like quiet because everybody was like on the verge of hysteria. Like there's people crying because they fell down and get stepped on in the dark. It was packed elbow to elbow, nut to butt. I had put my daughter up on.
People had fucking balls. You guys are scared.
I put my daughter up on my. I'm not scared of the dark. I am scared of 200 some odd thousand extra people at a fucking amusement park who are lost and drunk and don't know their way out. And
you got concealed carry. Couple pops in the air, they can leave you alone.
No, you would get stampeded to death, man. This was a really scary situation. It's probably the scariest situation I've been in outside of war because of the amount of fuckery, like the amount of how razor's edge it was. Then we get all the way, we finally find our way back to the fucking car, and there's nobody there guiding traffic. They take it down and put away all the cones, right? Because, like the people were like, fuck it, we're going home. And all the workers just went home. So now everybody is, instead of like driving out, everybody's just trying to funnel towards the one fucking exit, which Now there's only 2 lanes open to exit the parking lot. And I'm not joking when I say there's probably 20,000 vehicles or 30,000 vehicles in the parking lot. It took like 4 hours to get out of the parking lot. It was such a shit show. It was so bad that we just opened up the back of the freaking truck and we're making lemonades and selling them to like fucking people stuck in traffic for 4 hours. There were fights. There were people who there was gunshots. The whole fucking thing was just an absolute shit show. Fuck you, SeaWorld. 0 out of 10 for that experience. That could have gone into a mass casualty, make the damn news. 1,000 people could have died that freaking night.
Well, that would have been a lot more interesting than this story, I'm telling you, for sure.
It was scary. It was scary.
I want death in my SeaWorld adventure, damn it. I want blood.
I want a little murder and death in the fucking story.
Oh, I also that was my first time ever at fucking SeaWorld. And there's no animals. I figured SeaWorld would be like a fucking it would be like SeaWorld. It would have fucking animals from the goddamn ocean. Like aquariums and shit like that. No. There's one aquarium with 2 turtles in it. There are a small display with like fucking 6 or 8 penguins.
Did you not see them because the fucking lights are off? Or I mean,
yeah,
I've never been here
pretty much. But there's a couple of fucking flamingos, and then there's 2 goddamn killer whales, and that's all that's at SeaWorld. The rest of it is all parks and rides. You might as well go to Six Flags. Fuck SeaWorld, go to Six Flags. It's cheaper, and it's more fun. SeaWorld is basically Disneyland light, Disney World light, and there's no animals. It's SeaWorld. You figure they'd have fucking animals, but no, there's no goddamn animals. Shittiest zoo in the world, 0 out of 10. There's no fucking animals.
Yeah. Jeez. That was not quick. You lied to me.
That was quick. That was the quickest I could tell the story. I left out a lot of stuff.
Well, when I was a kid, SeaWorld had tons of stuff.
I was going to say, I don't know what you're talking about. I thought I had tons of shit in there.
The one in Florida did anyway.
That's where I went, yeah.
That was, 100 years ago.
Now it's all fucking rides and places you can pay to play carnival games, and that's it. It's some shows, but there's no animals. There's penguins, flamingos, 2 sea turtles, and 2 fucking orcas, and that's it. That's all there's there. Bullshit. Anyway, on that fucking note, guys, thank you for listening to this goddamn fuck around Find Out podcast. We love our listeners, and we usually end this thing on a positive note. So let's go ahead and Deadpool, tell me something fucking positive that doesn't involve me, because fuck you. What do they got?
Well,
I knew you were gonna say, "I'm thankful you stopped singing, fucker."
I was gonna say, I'm thankful that story's over.
Yeah, I do. That's why.
Thank you, 6-pound, 8-pound Jesus, that the story's over.
Stipulations.
I don't know. How about I don't know. Just remember, people aren't laughing with you. You're naturally funny because your life is a joke.
Okay, Marco Nutty, what do you got for us?
Okay, so for ending things on a positive note, my suggestion for the day is when working with electrical circuits, ensure to lick your fingers before performing any work.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, I guess it'll reduce the burns. It'll just let you go straight into your body easier.
Yes.
And,
both fingers. Make sure
you can do 2 fingers, and you can touch them. When you lick the fingers, you'll actually see the arc between your fingers.
Yeah, and then it's a good circuit.
Yep.
Yeah. Should you pee on it as well?
Yes. No. You stand in a puddle. That's definitely important. No rubber soles are a bad thing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, tactical Crocs. No, not at all. Love it. Great advice. That's 10 out of 10. Yeah. Excellent. So, Dad, Trib, what do you got?
Oh, me? Oh, yeah.
He's like, yeah, let me look it up.
Let me Google.
Hold on. When life gives you sour grapes, turn that shit into wine, bro. How's that one?
It's perfect. I mean, it's exactly what I thought you were going to say.
Okay, coming from me If you can't fucking drink it, I can't finish that one. It was too bad. So a second, you can't drink it, snort it, or smoke it. Fuck it. Let's go.
What do you do with the guinea pig?
By the way, guys, don't use double negatives. That's a big no-no.
But I thought that was positive.
Well, we love our listeners. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you are an alcoholic, please seek help. If you're not an alcoholic, please listen to the episode again until you are. If you'd like to get involved in our cool little let's trade some fucking wine and beer type things, I think we should make some stipulations that everything should be traded in beer bottles. Beer bottles with the cap on them are pretty fucking tough. Like, you can actually mail those and they won't explode. So, beer bottles with cap, you don't need to send everybody a freaking 750 ml fucking bottle or a liter bottle. A beer bottle with a cap is more than enough to trade back and forth. I think that would be a lot of fun. Please don't send me like a fucking beer with methamphetamines in it or heroin or fentanyl. I'll be very, very upset with you after I wake up and realize who you are. There's gonna be a little bit of fucking faith going on in this goddamn thing. No psychedelic fucking beers unless it was very, very specifically fucking mentioned that you are going to be receiving X, Y, or Z. So don't surprise people like, hey, surprise, you're fucked up at your kid's barbecue.
What if I say I'm going to send you a surprise?
Anything, let's amend that to anything that's coming from Deadpool should be just assumed to be drugged in some way. Okay?
Deadpool's the guy that used to bring the bottle of Everclear to the trash can parties at school in college and stuff.
Merkin!
No.
Yeah.
What?
So if you would like to get anything that's far as cultivation related, you like to get some supplies, great spawn, fucking substrate, anything like that, you can go ahead and get to hold of Deadpool in our Discord. If you'd like to go ahead and send us any sort of hate mail, you can do that at FAFOCult@gmail.com. If you'd like to support the show and keep us producing this high-quality, musically talented and gifted content exactly like it is, you can do so through our Venmo. That's going to be at FAFOCult. You can do it through CashApp. That's going to be $FAFOCult. Alternatively, you can go ahead and get on our Etsy. That's going to be FAFOCult.etsy.com. And buy some super sweet merch on there. Shortly, there's going to be a bunch of PDF books that you can be able to purchase through there as well. Some of them will
plus all donations receive full frontal pics of Mr. Trim nude.
his parents nude. His parents nude.
Long.
What?
Don't make
wait, hold on just a minute.
Yeah.
Fuckers. You know how much money I get on that app where they pay people to strip? I'm sure it's called
OnlyFans app.
OnlyFans. You know, I get paid good money on that.
From.
Oh, okay. If you paid for them, it's okay, I guess. Send me my cut.
Now they're pirated. Now they're getting away for free. Now, just ignore the watermark. You'll be fine. Thank you for listening, guys. We love you. FAFOCult@gmail.com for any sort of hate mail, constructive criticism, or if you would just like to tell us to fuck off. We appreciate that, and we frame your best efforts to tell us to go and die. Thank you, guys, and we're out.
Later.
America. That was a fun episode.
Yeah, you need to go to singing lessons. I'm telling you.